So here we go. The last steps in a way of painting is to varnish it, to give it this surface more shiny, to unify it and protect it, so the painting is signed and it actually looks more contrasty here on a phone, on a display, than in real life. In real life it's actually not that good looking. It's actually not that good looking. So we'll dip it into varnish. And here we go, like the magic of varnishing. Oh my god, it glows. It goes. So yeah, look at it. Look on the darks when I go over it. It just gets better. It just gets better. It's like working in Photoshop, you just add contrast and saturation. But I don't know if it's that simple as this, but really, like, look at this varnished part. This varnished part. How amazing it looks. It's really glossy. Like, you can see the light which is on ceiling on a varnished part, and on non-varnished it's very matte. On this part, yeah, much more reflective, but yeah. So let's work it. It's good to not put a thick layer on it. I used to do this mistake. I put so much varnish on it that it created these like mountains of varnish. So some parts of a painting were really, really glossy and some parts weren't that much, so it created this uneven surface. The trick is, or at least I think is, in making it really, really thin layer, but really consistent throughout the painting. Look at it. That's magic. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be enjoying it that much, but it's a part of a process. It's a part of a process, yeah. And it smells. It smells. I don't know if it's good smell or bad smell. It just reminds me of these times when I varnish. So beware, good ventilation is really needed. Last touches. So usually when I do step, I check it under really high angle, so I can see whether it's glossy all over, whether it reflects well. Yeah, so I check it like this. Seems kind of good. yeah. Yeah, it actually looks better. It actually looks better. Especially this painting was kind of a weak in colors and contrast, and the varnish really brought it to life. So yeah, that's like my favorite pastime after work. I just pick 4 paintings which I've done previous year and varnish them, and it's really satisfying. It's really satisfying just to revisit them, the paintings which I've done previous spring and summer, and really kind of close the process of creating it, and as well get back to that moment when I created that painting. It always brings back memories. Like usually some people came by, ask questions, whatever. It's good to find quiet spot where not many people goes and can bother you. Some are really friendly. And what I've noticed, kids are really curious. And this day, like, no adult came by, but for sure some kids were curious enough. They didn't ask any questions, but they were curious enough to go all along the parking lot and just peek behind me what's really there. And it was really sunny day. I picked this spot in Železný Brod, which is like my hometown where I grew up, where I used to go to the elementary school. And it's a small town in the north of the Czech Republic. I have another picture here. Let's give it a space. Which is me standing on a hillside. And there is a valley with river, and the Železný Brod. It's translated something like iron fort, so there was probably shallow water, so carriages could pass by, and some like inn was there. So yeah, from one building it grew up and grew up more, and this town, and then also some industrial parts of Železný Brod. This is actually one of my favorite paintings. Like, it captures the light pretty well, and it has kind of simple nature, like just few like 2 main shadow shapes, and this design, like, it's kind of a little abstract, and I like this quality in paintings, that it can be like looked as an abstract painting. So I may look at it from this side, and it still might be, interesting design to look at. Yeah, I'm seeing it for the first time from this angle, and it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I think quite good. So yeah, this is my time after work. I just go back to these paintings and varnish them.